For many years, there was a beautiful duplex that nobody wanted to buy. The house was big, it was modern, it had a beautiful compound, large rooms, and everything that anybody who wanted comfort would want in a home. But even with all of these beautiful things, the house remained empty for so many years. People around the area knew about this house, but they rarely talked about it. Some people said strange things happened in that house. Some people believed that there was a reason nobody wanted to live in that house, but nobody could really explain what exactly was wrong with that house. Then one day, everything changed. A couple who lived in Canada found the house online. They were content creators who loved traveling and making videos about their lives. Because their work was always busy, they wanted to buy a house away from Canada where they could come during the holidays, relax, and create more content. So when they saw the pictures of the duplex, they immediately loved it. The house looked so beautiful. The rooms were so spacious and the compound was large. Everything looked like their perfect holiday home. They did not even know the history of that house. They did not know who stayed in that house and why that house had stayed empty for so long. They only saw a beautiful property online and decided to buy that house. So after buying the house, they spent a lot of money renovating it and they changed almost everything. They upgraded the kitchen, they bought new furniture, they improved all of the rooms, they added modern facilities, they turned the old duplex into a luxury home. But there was something they could not change: the house itself. The walls remained, the rooms remained, and whatever secret was inside that house was still there. So when the couple finally arrived, they were happy, they were kind people, they did not give people problems, they greeted people around the area and they treated everyone with respect. On their first day, they went shopping, they bought food, they filled the fridge, they stocked their pantry, they made sure that they had everything they needed because they wanted to enjoy their holiday without stress. After traveling, shopping, and arranging things that they came with in that house, they became very tired. So instead of cooking that night, they decided to buy takeout and went to sleep. That was the night that everything started. While they were sleeping, they heard strange sounds coming from the kitchen. It sounded like someone was cooking, and they could hear movement and they could hear things being arranged. But they didn't think about it too much. They even thought maybe it was coming from somewhere nearby, maybe another building, maybe someone outside, their neighbor was doing one or two things in their house. So they ignored it and then they went back to sleep. The next morning, they woke up confused. Their clothes were no longer where they left them. They had been washed, they had been ironed, they were neatly arranged on the bed. Their shoes were cleaned, the bathrooms were spotless, the whole house was shining. They were just wondering what was going on. They walked into the dining area. The food that they planned to eat later was already prepared and waiting for them. They looked at each other in surprise. And at first, they thought maybe the person who sold the house to them, had already arranged some kind of home service for them, but forgot to tell them. So they laughed about it. They sat down and enjoyed their food. They thought, they were just being lucky. But that same thing happened again the next day. And every day it kept happening. So every morning the house was cleaned, their clothes were washed and arranged, their shoes were clean, food was prepared, the compound was very neat, but nobody ever appeared. Nobody knocked on the door. Nobody entered the house. The strangest thing was that they started sleeping much more longer than they normally did. They woke up feeling completely rested, and for the first time in many years, they felt like they could truly relax. They were enjoying their holiday. They thought they had found a perfect place until one day they met this agent, the same agent who helped them to buy the house. They smiled at him and they thanked him for arranging the home service. The agent looked confused. Home service? What's home service? They thought the agent was joking. They explained everything. They told him about the cleaning, they told him about the food, they told him about their clothes being washed and prepared. The agent became serious and said he did not send anybody. The couple stopped smiling. The agent told them that he only helped them to buy the property, that he doesn't have anyone working for them in the house. And then for the first time, they felt uncomfortable. They rushed home and checked their security cameras. They watched every recording, but there was nothing. No person entered, no cleaner, no cook, nobody. The cameras showed an empty house. They called the police and then the police came and investigated. They checked the property. They installed more security cameras, but every day, the same thing happened. Food appeared, the house was cleaned, their clothes were arranged. Nobody could explain who was doing those things. So eventually, their holiday ended. They packed their bags and then they returned to Canada. But before they left, they told one of their friends about everything that happened. Their friend laughed and said, "These are haunted houses stories. They are not real. Someone must be playing tricks on you." The couple tried to explain, but he refused to believe them. So they gave him the keys to the house and told him to stay there for his birthday. After that, he could tell them the story if it was fake or not. So the man accepted. He invited his friends and family to celebrate with him. And the house was big enough for everyone. They arrived, they settled in, they enjoyed the beautiful property. And that night, everybody went to sleep. But while they were sleeping, the house was awake. That same night, the same thing that was happening to the couple from Canada started happening to them again. The kitchen became active. Someone was preparing food. The rooms were being cleaned. The clothes they brought were arranged properly. And the bathrooms were prepared. But nobody saw anyone. By morning, the birthday host woke up early. He was excited about his birthday because it was a special day, of course, and he walked downstairs expecting to meet his friends and begin the celebration. But the moment he entered the kitchen, he stopped. Standing there was a beautiful birthday cake. He moved closer. His name was written perfectly on that cake. He looked around, nobody was there. He checked the living room, nobody. He checked the hallway, nobody. The house was completely quiet, and for a moment he smiled. Maybe his friends in Canada had secretly arranged for somebody to bring a cake. After all, they were the only people who knew about his coming to this house for his birthday party. But then he remembered something. His friends had already told him that they also once thought someone was helping them. They thought it was home service, but they later discovered that nobody had sent anyone. So if they did not arrange this, who brought the cake? Who entered the house without being seen? Who prepared everything while everyone was asleep? The birthday host slowly looked around the empty kitchen. The house was silent, but for the first time, he was no longer sure that the house was empty. And one question remained in his mind. If his friends in Canada did not order that cake, who exactly made it and brought it into that house? Let's find out what happened in part 2.